So guys, drive a truck on 18-speed transmission. I'm going to try shift all 18 gears. Go ahead, count them. I'm empty. It's actually a lot easier to do when you're 105,000 pounds or 80,000, but here we go. Should be fine, we're empty. No hard twists, a little off-road spurt back there. This truck is built like a tank. So yeah, I'm a truck driver. I've been for, about 20 years now. Done a lot of things, mostly dump truck. Here I am, dump trucking again, in the family business. Driving a transfer dump truck. Made another video about what that's like. This thing rides rough as a cob, as they say. Calmer suspension, does really good off-road, doesn't do so good on bumpy roads. I think the back end lifts off the ground when I go over certain bumps. So we jiggle away down the road like a bowl full of jelly. But truck driving, most common job in America, one of the most valuable, not one of the best paying. Unless you're really good and own your own truck, then it can be not so bad. A lot of times it's hard work. But I will say, part of my little story, about 4 years ago, my wife and I were doing our own owner-operator thing. Independent, working with a broker. And I was getting home every night, pretty much. Long hours, 12, 14-hour days, sometimes more. And funny thing happened. A really obnoxious thing happened, actually. I had just dropped off a load down in Oregon. Forget exactly where. And I noticed I had a cracked wheel. This thing was cracked, if I remember right around the lug nuts, where I didn't know if I could go 2 miles or 200 miles or 2,000 miles. That thing broke. I would not only lose the tire, probably tear up all kinds of things. I mean, a flat tire is one thing, a broken wheel, I don't know, man. It would have been crazy. I've never seen it happen. But it was cracked. Dangerously so. And 2 miles away, there was a Les Schwab tire shop that had the exact wheel I needed in stock. Took him about 20 minutes to change it. And I had to get back across the bridge into Washington. One of the several bridges. To get a load picked up. I think their last call was like 3:15 in the afternoon. In Bingen, Washington. Well, I didn't make it. Had to stay the night in the sleeper. I decided to treat myself and go and have dinner at a little Mexican restaurant. It was great. A few flies buzzing around. And got on YouTube. And I was looking for alternative social media, like an alternative to Facebook, because Facebook is what they are. Not so great. Found this guy. You can look him up if you want to. A little bit of a nutcase. Pretty sure he's wrong on a few things. Quite a bit of a wacko. Corey Gray. Ex-drug dealer, some kind of gang member, I think. At least just about. They were involved in a drug ring of sorts. He's got some wild stories. It's definitely worth looking him up. I think he lived that life for about 10 years. Found the Lord in prison. Read his Bible through like multiple times in prison, and he came out and he became born again, and he went on to try to live a Christian life. Went on a mission trip, I believe it was, to Nicaragua, and moved there. Been living there ever since. Got a wife and kid now. Really good information about off-grid prepping, New World Order kind of stuff. But it was intriguing, so I kept listening, and I was listening, and he knew his Bible pretty well. Read through it a lot, had some very different understandings than we do, than I did. And I still do on the Bible. And he mentioned that in the Bible, God promised to give us the gifts of the Spirit to cast out demons and heal the sick and whatnot. He may have quoted Mark chapter 16, verses 17 and 18. Look that up. I'll probably butcher it. But it says, these signs shall follow those who believe. In my name, they shall cast out demons. They shall speak with new tongues. They all shall take up serpents. They shall drink any deadly thing, and it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Anyway, he said there's people today. Mentioned a few names. Todd White, Curry Blake, Pete Rivera Jr., who do these things. He said, I myself have cast out demons and even healed the sick, I believe he mentioned. That intrigued me. Like, this guy's kind of bonkers, but let's look it up. So I looked it up. I looked up those names. I looked up Pete Cabrera Jr. I saw him lengthening someone's legs in totally a wild way, like beyond reasonable amount to be faked. And Curry Blake, who has an absolutely phenomenal story. I was looking him up. I listened to all 17 hours of Curry Blake's series on maybe 19 hours, 17 or 19 hours on healing the sick, casting out demons and stuff like that, using your authority. And these guys seemed really sincere. It blew my mind. Todd White seemed a bit more like kooky, weird, kind of a hippie type, dreadlocks, whatever. And he has his flaws. He's admitted to them. He's admitted to multiple flaws. You heresy hunters. He's even repented of some of his behavior. All in all, I think pretty sincere guy, though. Very sincere, actually, though maybe perhaps a bit misled. Don't follow him much. His style's a little different, but I found a podcast called Heal the Sick. Absolutely phenomenal podcast. I listened to all 100 episodes, which means over 100 healing testimonies of some absolutely bonkers healings, and even some other different we would say wild miracles, signs and wonders. Mentioned it to my wife. She thought I was crazy, which is probably true, but she thought I was wrong also, which is, I believe, not true. And I said, well, if one thing comes out of this that's good, hope you can appreciate that, is I will read through the Bible. Completely. I'm determined to do this now. So I drive truck. I was driving truck 12 to 14 hours a day. Reading is tough. So I found an audio version on LibriVox, whatever app, public domain, King James Bible. I listened through the New Testament once, the Old Testament and New Testament, the Old Testament and New Testament again, and maybe one more time, I'm not sure, and I just decided these guys are legit. I can't find anything in the Bible that contradicts what they're saying. They're doing what we are supposed to be doing as Christians. We're not. We in my church denomination are pretty much barely getting by. Yeah, trying to live a fairly good Christian life, leaning very heavily on grace, which is good to do that. And that is not the only thing we're supposed to be doing. I believe our purpose here on earth not me have a lot of children. I have 3. Wouldn't mind more, but it is what it is. But we, as very traditional, fairly fundamental people, we seem to try to expand the kingdom of God by having babies, which is a wonderful way to do it. And then the babies grow up and become addicted to all kinds of things. Oftentimes drugs, alcohol, sex, pornography. Some of us manage to make a lot of money by working hard, following the principles of the Bible. Some of us do pretty well by staying out of a lot of debt. Others seem to not take too seriously the word when it says the borrower is slave to the lender, or servant to the lender. And we borrow money like crazy, and they're in tons of debt, and they're in tons of stress, and spend about every waking moment either stressed out or binging on social media, YouTube, whatever, Netflix, TV, sometimes, in many cases, very inappropriate, unchristian TV programs. And do we ever lead anybody to the Lord? Not very many. Not very many. And I was kind of sick and fed up with it, but I didn't think there was another way. And now I know there is another way. And that's what I'm working on. So, thanks for watching. This one maybe went a little long, I'm not sure on the time. The audio is probably terrible as well, sorry.